Alright, it's been a while since we've given you an update on our cows. These are our two heifers. They're getting pretty big. And I got a bucket of their feed here. They're getting all natural organic feed with no soy. And I like to, when I give it to them, just to pour it in the trough here. And they come right in for it. One of Grandma's cows coming looking for a little something. But while they're up here, I just take a little time to love on them, touch them all over, all the way up down by their head, just rub their necks, all that. Check out the rump. One thing about cattle, you'll notice that these guys are, I'm going to just estimate, about 3 feet tall off the ground to the back of their shoulders here. About 3 feet to here, my waist height. I'm 6'6", so the lower the cow is to the ground, the easier it is to fatten them up. They're not burning as many calories as a taller cow, you know. You may think a tall cow, bigger and whatever, you'll get more beef out of it, but actually I think if you do the math, the amount of feed you give them versus, you know, a bigger cow, a lot less with these guys to get them up to size. Here comes the big hamster wheel. So we're taking the hay ring away from the horses. They just make a mess. If you look way over out there in the corner, there's a big old circle of hay. They just like to toss it and scatter it.
Look over there, yeah.
Here's another example of another bale. They just tore it up and tossed it around. So
very wasteful.
Yeah, it's a little wasteful, and we're going to just feed them day by day. We'll just pitch some hay out to them. It'll be easier that way. All right.
The cows have done a little bit of that up here, but...
So there's the bale we have for the cows. This has been out, what, 4 or 5 days? Maybe a little more than that. They have a little bit of waste and scattering around, but with this ring, I think it won't be an issue for them as much.
Watch out, Mama.
She'll move.
I just don't want them getting scared and moving towards me. About there?
About there.
Ready?
Let me come over to the other side here.
Let me tell you, tipping this up by myself, it's a little hard.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. 1, 2.
There we go.
I got it, you know, and I tilted up like this, so straight up.
Uh-huh.
And at my full height, it still wasn't leaning over. And when I tried to go to a side and do it, it just kind of would roll. So I had to kind of get on the side and then push it a bit.
Yeah.
Because I don't have much height.
There we go. We got that in there. And as you can see, there's a little bit of waste around here where they've been tossing it about, but I think this will slow them down a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think, when they had it before, they didn't do it like the horses did.
We have the stalls open for the cows to come in to get out of the wind. And you can see they leave little packages in here overnight. Well, hey, it's part of the farm life. It's part of homesteading and having animals and caring for them. But one of the good things when it's cold like this, they're pretty easy to get out of there because they're frozen. However, right now I think we're pretty close to 30. Let me see. We're right at 32, so they're going to be softening up and not quite as easy to get out. And when they're hard, they come out real easy. The other day when I mucked it out, they just came out bloop, 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 and it was that quick and done.
If I was watching this video, I'd have stopped it right there.
Those with the weaker constitution may have already stopped this video. The rest of you, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And leave a comment below that says you hung in there. Lorella's shaking her head in there. Missy, what you doing, girl? Eating your oats? Every day at 4:30 when it's time for oats, Lady and Missy are standing out there waiting for us.
Yeah, they are down at the gate. Alright, Chris, can I share a little tip with you?
Yeah.
I don't give them their grain until I've got the straw ready to go in the stall.
Ah.
Because it keeps them out of the stalls while I'm trying to muck it. Now I gotta go chase the calf out of the stall and try and keep them out while I'm mucking it.
Well, when I'm in there, they don't want to be in there, so.
Oh, they come in and watch me all the time. We got a nice big hay ring up there, a fresh bale of hay. They're gonna be eating the straw.
So let's go check in on our little salt lick stand over here and see how it's doing, how it's weathered over the last year. They sell these over at the feed store for almost $200, and I'm like, man, I got enough stuff around here to do it myself. At the time I did. I think only thing I bought was like these big hardware bolts. But yeah, I had the 4x4s and stuff, leftover plywood, stuff from building our house. And so the white one is the salt lick, the red one on the right is a mineral block, and this one is a fly control lick. So basically they're licking it, it gets in their digestive system and it makes their feces uninhabitable for fly larvae. This is gonna be the episode about cows. Yeah,
The episode about poop.
I almost said that, but then I just decided to change it. Oh yeah, are you feeling frisky? You wanna dance? Oh. Yeah.
Like this one's got a little mothy hair thing going on.
Yeah, this one has the swirl above the eyes. That means they're crazy. Oh, that's horses, huh?
No, it's cows. So let me teach you something about cattle, Chris. These are not cows. Did you know that?
Yes, I knew that, but
These are heifers.
I'm a city boy.
Right, and maybe we have other city boy viewers or city girl viewers who don't know, because I didn't know either. Hey, Mama. Warm my fingers up a little bit, yeah. These are heifers. Heifers are female cattle or female dairy cows that have not yet been bred or given birth. Even if they're bred, they're called a bred heifer. After they've had one baby, they're a first calf heifer. After they have their second baby, they're officially a cow. So they're not a cow until they've given birth. They've calved twice.
You gotta prove your salt, ladies.
That's right. And boy cattle are steers. No,
If they're
bulls.
fixed.
They're bulls. If they're castrated, they're steers. And they're cattle.
There you go.
That's your
Next time you go to the butcher, you tell them you don't want any old cow meat. You want some good steer meat, young steer. That's where it's at.
And what else? So they'll be bred around age 2, because until that time they're still growing. So some people do breed them a little bit earlier, but it's just like a human body. You know, they're gonna have to carry that calf for 9 months, and if they're still growing, then the nutrients are gonna be divided.
Is their gestation cycle 9 months, or?
Yeah, I believe it is 9 months gestation
I
cycle.
thought it was longer.
No, I think it's 9 months. I think it's the same as humans. We'll look it up to be sure, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct on this. And so you want the baby to get as much nutrients as possible.
Right,
So-
yeah. You want the mom to be fully developed and ready to
Yeah.
be a
So
mom.
probably around this time next year, because we got them in March or April. I'd have to look at my records, and they were a couple months old already then, because they were weaned.
Yeah, we've had them about 9 or 10 months, I think.
Yeah, so I would think around this time next year we'll be looking to breed them. We might want to wait though. Something else I've noticed they do around here is they breed them so they birth in November, December, so that the whole time there's no hay growing, grass growing, their mama's feeding them, and then by the time they're ready to wean, then they've got grass, hay.
Ah, that's why they do that. I was wondering that.
That's what I think it is. I don't. Nobody's
It
actually
makes
said to
perfect
me.
sense, actually.
But I think that's why they do it.
There's Chewy. He's on the other side of the electric fence. He knows better. He's experienced a zap to the tail a couple times. So
I think
he's telling us he's ready to be with us, or he's ready to go inside. I don't know. What do you think?
I think he's saying hi to Cypress from Little Mountain Ranch.
Oh.
So if you guys don't know about Little Mountain Ranch, you're gonna have to pop on over and check out their channel. We'll leave a link to it in the description. And they're in BC where it's like snowy and stuff, and she has the prettiest white dog that goes out and does chores with her. So that was Chewy saying hi, Cypress.
Out with the old. Alright, I'm gonna walk down here and check the tanks, the water tanks. Oh, we're just making a water puddle out here. That's gonna be an ice puddle. Looks like the hose fell out. We have really good water pressure on our well. That's one of the things that was a must when I had the well put in. Was get that water level up. Let's have good water pressure. You want to come in here? Come on. So anyway, yeah, when we got our well in, one of my must-haves was good water pressure, because I knew we were going to be doing livestock, gardening, irrigation, etc. down the road, and getting a nice strong well pump. That was a good choice. I would say I'm real happy with it.
It's so much fun on a weekday night to go watch the Lady Bears play basketball. There's our Carter down there. Nothing else much to do in a small town but watch sports. So I wanted to tell you guys, since we're calling this the cow video, when you've got cattle, you have to have what they call water gap fencing. So this is the property line between our farm and the neighbor's farm. And to keep the cows from going and roaming onto somebody else's property, you have to have these fences that go through the water. The only problem with this is every time there's a flood, all of this gets washed out and it's got to be replaced. So that's kind of a headache. And on our property, there are 3 water gap fences that have to be taken care of. But our neighbors are pretty good. One neighbor takes care of this one, another neighbor takes care of the one boarding their property, and then we take care of the one at the low water bridge. So it kind of works out okay. And then you can probably see down there in the background the springs that we were talking about earlier. They're so pretty. So we thought we'd bring you down here to the creek and show you what it looks like in winter. It's a different kind of beauty on the farm in winter than it is in spring or summer or fall. Speaking of spring, our creek is named Spring Creek, not for the season, but for the springs that naturally flow into it and feed it. Even though it might look chilly with all this ice down here on the creek, it's actually an unseasonably warm day. It's up in the 40s. That's a little bit unusual for this time of year. Let's take a look down here and see if we can get a good view of these springs that are frozen over. Some may think these barren trees look quite bleak, but to me, I see beauty. And it's also a reminder that though we go through difficult times and seasons in our life, that it cycles through and that growth comes after the bleakest times. So I hope that you find joy in your journey and you see beauty even in the dark times of life.